Jackie? Who did this?
I don't know.
Oh, my God. Is this anything to do with Bryant's confession?
I think so.
Poor kid.
No!
Do you want to be moved to isolation?
Just get me away.
But what about the...
Well, I didn't expect to see you here so soon. How's the tooth?
Gone. And no pain, thank goodness. He's really good, you know. He only took a minute.
Oh, that's good.
I see Mrs. Davidson's lifted the restrictions on Helen Smart's visitors.
What makes you think that?
Oh, I just saw her out in the garden talking to Matt Thomas.
Who?
Oh, Matt Thomas. He's a reporter on the Dispatch.
Who do I make this out to? You?
No, make it out to Wilson and Smythe solicitors. It's our legal firm.
Break them up! He's a reporter!
What's all this about, Mrs. Powell? Don't I even get visits from my family now?
Don't lie to me, Smart. I know who he is. Officer Bailey, take this man inside, then ask Mr. Faulkner to conduct a routine search before he's taken from the grounds.
Yes, Mrs. Powell.
You can't do that. I know my rights.
If you're found to be carrying any message from this prisoner, then you'll find out what your rights are. Officer Bailey?
This way.
Come on, get moving.
Oh, did you find out what happened?
Well, we know what happened. We don't know why.
Oh, damn it, Mrs. Morris. Did you find out who bashed Jackie or not?
Well, I thought you might be able to tell me that.
Me? Oh, I thought you knew me better than that.
I thought so.
Look, Mrs. Morris. Jackie was about to sign a confession that was going to get me out of here. Then some morons come and bash her up and she does a turnabout. I'd be the last person in the world to ever lay a finger on her.
Well, I know bashing isn't your style, Judy, so I don't think it was you. But you must know who it was.
Yeah, well, I will change my style if I find out who it was
Now,
just
that
once.
wouldn't help.
Well, it might. Mrs. Morris, couldn't you please just talk to her, you know, tell her I wasn't involved in it. Then maybe she'll still sign the confession.
Maybe. But if the police didn't want to believe her, then it'd be useless. I mean, she's frightened and bruised. They may think she's been forced to confess.
Yeah, I guess. Why would they settle for one when they can have two for the same price? I suppose it's best if they're not involved.
I just hope it's not too late. As soon as I heard Jackie wanted to confess, I rang Senior Detective Burke.
Oh, well, that settles it then, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, Judy.
Oh, if I could get my hands on those people.
Now, that's not your job.
Well, who else is going to do it?
We'll find out who did it.
How? I mean, I appreciate it very much, but they're not going to confess, are they? And anyone else that tells them would be daubing.
Judy, don't endanger your chances of an appeal now.
What chances?
You have no right to do this.
Don't be ridiculous. You know the score.
Yeah, screws one just
That's
as
enough.
naught.
See how you feel after a spell in solitary.
Solitary? What for?
For saying that man was your brother.
You said he was my brother, not me.
Look, don't bother. Just get moving.
I want to see the governor.
The governor isn't in the prison today. I'm in charge.
Well, you're not exactly seeing things my way, are you? I want to talk to somebody about this.
You will. You'll be up before the visiting justice very soon. Now, unless you want disobeying an officer added to your charges, I would start walking now.
You know damn well I am being denied my rights.
Are you going to walk to solitary, or do I have to bloody well drag you?
I want a solicitor.
You've seen a solicitor.
He refused to represent me. I'm entitled to a solicitor who will take some action.
Don't quote me your rights. Now, just do as you're told, and we'll see about your legal situation at a later date.
Can't you get it through your head? I shouldn't be here.
Ah, Mr. Faulkner. Find anything on our reporter friend?
No, any personal effects.
Good, got to him in time. I wonder if you could help me, please. Miss Smart's refusing to go to solitary.
Come on.
I am entitled to some decent legal assistance, even in this dump.
This isn't the way to go about getting it.
Okay, I've tried reasoning. Just drag her.
And the main thing is not to let anyone make your decisions for you.
Oh, that's easy to say. But when you've been stuck in prison with other people giving you orders...
What's up?
Someone's just put pay to me getting out of this dump.
What?
But Jackie was all ready to tell the story.
Yeah, that was before someone beat her up.
Who?
I don't know. They scared her out of signing a confession, not that anyone would believe her once she was bashed.
Well, why would anyone do a thing like that?
You tell me.
Well, either they don't want you to get out of here, or they were stupid enough to think they were helping you.
Yeah, well, if I find out who did it, I'll give them a good helping.
Now, just a minute. That's exactly how this sort of thing happens. All right, you lot. Some punch-happy moron has had a go at Donahue. Anybody know anything about it? No, of course you don't. All bloody angels, aren't you? Well, for your information, this particular punch-up might have cost Judy her parole. Now, I've told you a million times, if you feel like giving someone a smack, come and see me first. Because if you don't, and I find out about it, I'll kick your bums till your nose bleeds. Now, have you got that? Jude?
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
stop looking as if it's the end of the world. We'll sort it out.
Yeah, well, what good's that going to do now, anyway?
Hi. Have there been any developments on Jackie?
There certainly have.
Thought there might.
Why?
Oh, well, you got your old pal daughter to thank for it.
I might have known.
Did you bash Jackie?
Yeah, me and Mug, I reckon it was time we sorted her out.
Susie sorted her out, not you. Susie had a nice, quiet talk with her. She agreed to sign the confession.
You mean after we thumped her?
She means before you mucked it up.
How could you do this to me, Doreen? She was going to tell everything I was going to get out of this dump. For God's sake, now if she even admits that she did it, they're only going to think that she's been beaten into admitting it.
Yeah, you bloody idiot.
Well, we only wanted to...
Yeah, I know what you wanted. And since when did you start taking an interest in my welfare?
Look, we were only trying to help.
Yeah, I don't reckon this is fair.
Well, is it fair that I have to spend the rest of my life in this dump because she just wouldn't sign a confession?
Yeah, well, I reckon I could get her to sign it.
Haven't you heard a single thing we've said?
With friends like you, who needs enemies?
Sorry, Jude.
Susie, you're on trade duty. Could you go down to the kitchen before dinner?
Sure, Mr. Faulkner.
I don't know about this place anymore. Once upon a time, the only person you couldn't trust was a screw.
I don't think I even care anymore.
She's only scared, Judy. Or maybe she'll come round when things settle
Oh,
down.
yeah, by that time she'll be out of here.
There's still
Oh,
time.
forget it.
I guess we all know when things started going wrong round here, eh, ladies?
All right, Luce, what happened?
Punched myself in the kidneys. What do you reckon?
Don't be insolent. I can't be expected to see everyone at once. Now, what happened?
I don't know. I get the feeling someone around here doesn't like me too much.
Well, that's hardly surprising, the trouble you've been causing them.
You don't believe that.
What do you mean?
Well, can't you see I'm being set up?
Set up?
You know who put me on cleaning the recreation room, which was found messed up after I had done it. Well, the same person put me on kitchen duties, after which stolen goods are found in the recreation room.
I don't want to hear any more. Making allegations against a senior officer is a very serious matter.
I'm not making allegations. I'm just saying that someone's setting me up. You work it out for yourself.
All right, Doreen. There's a spare seat here.
Thanks, Jude. Thought you were still mad at me.
At least if you're sitting where I can see, you can't get into any more trouble.
The next time you want to do me a favor, don't. Let's just drop the whole thing now, okay?
Hey, guess what?
I don't think anyone's in the mood for guessing games.
Oh, I know who's in the pan.
Who is it?
Helen.
What?
Well, Mrs. Powell grabbed her out in the garden with a visitor and threw her into solitary.
But why? What'd she do?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't supposed to hear that much, and that's all I found out.
Yeah. I wonder what she's done now.
Well, we won't know today, but tomorrow we will just have to find out, won't we?
Preposterous. Completely outrageous. If that rag you work for was to publish that, I'd sue it out of existence. Who is this Helen Smart woman, anyway?
She's a prostitute currently serving a sentence at Wentworth Detention Centre.
For prostitution?
No, drug possession.
Well, there you are then, probably trying to drum up some business with cheap publicity. Or perhaps trying her hand at blackmail.
Quite possibly, Mr. Sandfield.
You know, it's amazing how these characters can crawl out of the woodwork. As soon as a man decides to do his duty and stand for election, there's always someone ready to score cheap points. I'm amazed that someone in your position could take such lies seriously.
We have to check on everything.
Yes, well, I hope you're satisfied.
Thank you, Mr. Stanfield. I appreciate you're a busy man.
Anytime you wish to interview me about my party's policies, just ring my secretary for an appointment.
I'll do that. Bye.
Yes, Mr. Stanfield. Yes, at once. Hey, you can't do that.
You're right. Sorry. Detective Sergeant Ryan.
Morning.
Morning.
Everything quiet?
Just the usual. Everything's under control.
Well, it's an improvement on last night.
Oh?
I think we'll have to keep an eye on that Carol Lewis.
Well, I don't think she's getting away with anything.
No, but she's getting some rough treatment from some of the women. Someone punched her on the way to dinner last night.
I know some of the women dislike her, so she's bound to get a few knocks every now and again. Doesn't bother me.
Well, I think it should.
Really? Oh, didn't realise it was our job to make her popular with the other women. Come on, Meg. Carol Lewis, she can well and truly look after herself.
And it's not our job to make them unpopular either.
When the women are wrangling amongst themselves, they're more easily controlled. And we're here to maintain order, which is exactly what I intend doing.
Well, I don't think it's fair. I nearly run out of biscuits and all my fruit's gone.
You can have some of mine, Dor.
Oh, thanks, but that won't last long, not with no buyer for a week. What do you reckon, Dee?
Not much we can do about it now, except share and pull our belts in a bit.
Yeah, well, I don't think we should have to.
Mr. Faulkner, you're just the man we need.
What do you want now?
Very little, really, just some information. Why has Helen Smart been put in solitary, and how long is she going to be there?
We'll have to get that information from the Deputy Governor.
Oh, she wouldn't give us the time of day.
That's about all you get from me, too.
Well, what's the harm in telling us something we're going to find out eventually anyway?
You'll find out when she's released, so just be patient. Nothing you can do about it now, anyway.
Please, Mr. Faulkner.
Sorry. Get back to work.
Damn. Must be some way we can help her.
Yeah, they certainly have it in for her.
If only we could get past the censorship and get Helen's story to the outside where it could do some good.
Well, maybe we could smuggle a letter or something out in the laundry bags.
Hey, that's a great idea.
No,
I think of that.
it wouldn't work. They'd check them. Besides, you have to rely on a stranger to pass it on.
Well, we could put lots of letters in.
Oh, well, that wouldn't work either, would it? I mean, they find one letter, they're going to keep searching till they find them all.
Why not write it on the sheets with the laundry markers?
Don't be stupid.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Got a point there. Couldn't write much, though.
Well, you could write Free Helen Smart.
Or ask your local member about Helen Smart's imprisonment. Once the sheets were folded and pressed, probably wouldn't be noticed.
And when the people in the old folks' homes and the hospitals start asking questions, somebody's going to have an answer.
I reckon that's a damn good idea, Carol. Yeah, let's get started before the trucks arrive.
You got a visitor this afternoon, Judy.
Me? Who is it?
Detective Sergeant Burke. It's about Jackie's confession.
But I thought that... Well, I mean, do you think they'll take it seriously now?
Well, I hope so. Unfortunately, I called him before the assault. But don't give up.
I hope it all works for you, Jude.
Well, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it one way or the other.
Well, Jackie's not that bad. Well, if she tells the truth this time, it should be okay.
Sorry I've wasted your time, but you'll have to unload the bags. There'll be no laundry going out today.
Got any more bright ideas?
Save your energy for the work. We've still got all our regular stuff to get through as well as this lot.
Yeah, well, don't blame me. It's not my fault. It's hers. She's bloody jinxed.
You're probably right.
What?
About me being jinxed.
Now that I think you better explain.
It's not my fault Mrs. Morris found all those marked sheets.
Yeah, and you all thought it was worth trying.
And none of the other things that happen around here are my fault either.
You mean like us losing our privileges and our buy-up?
Oh, give it a rest, Doreen.
No, Bea. That's exactly what I mean.
All right then, whose fault was it?
Well, you work it out for yourself. I get done for kidnapping, and the girl's mother turns out to be the Deputy Governor of Wentworth. She puts me on cleaning duty. The rec room winds up looking like a bomb site. She puts me on kitchen duty. Stuff gets nicked out of the store and is found in the recreation room. So what happens? You all lose your privileges and I get the blame. You bloody work it out for yourselves.
You know, I think there might be something in what Carol said.
What do you mean?
Hal hasn't taken her eyes off her. She's been watching her like a hawk. And she didn't like Margot sitting there.
Are you sure?
Not yet. Well, I'm working on it.
Have the prisoners in solitary been fed?
No, Susie Driscoll's taking their meals up after lunch.
Well, that's too late. I'll arrange for them to go now. Gaffney, leave your meal until you've taken some food up to solitary.
Why don't you start it?
Do as you're told. You wouldn't like them to starve, would you?
It isn't fair.
Any more back chat and you can eat up there with them. Go on, get to the kitchen.
Now I'm sure.
Well, it certainly explains a few things that have been going on around here lately. What are you going to do about it?
Anyone like to sit with Bev and Lil?
What for?
Yeah, I could use a change of company.
That's a good one. Hey, Carol, there's a spare seat here. You had me going for a while, you and your little playmate. But now you're in. And you've got mates.
Yeah, I know. We're still in there and finding out about Helen.
Well, she should be out again soon.
Yes, should be.
Smith.
I'll be with you in a minute. You wanted me?
Yes, I want you, Smith. This time you've gone too far.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't play games with me. Making the wrong choice of company in here can have unfortunate results, and I don't like anyone trying to make a fool out of me.
No one's making a fool out of you.
You know what I mean. I would have thought you'd have more sense than to try and cross me.
Mrs. Powell, I understand how you feel.
Don't you patronize me. You couldn't begin to understand.
I know what it's like when something happens to your daughter.
That has nothing to do with this.
Yes, it has. But you're taking your hatred out on the woman who tried to help your kid.
What would you know?
Well, you have to take it out on someone, I understand that. But the guy who hurt is dead. And so you're taking it out on her.
You're being insolent, Smith.
Don't you quote regulations to me. You lost the right to do that when you started setting Carol up for things she didn't do. To try and punish us and turn the women against her.
Okay, you can consider yourself on a charge.
Fair enough. I'll be very happy to repeat everything I've just said in front of the governor.
Yeah, well, all I want to do is get out of here before Laurie finds out. It's the only thing that matters.
You know, the chances would have been better before Basher Burns had her way. But it won't hurt for the cops to have a second look.
Well, that's what we were saying.
Mail call. Cavelli. Gaffney.
Good old Auntie Gwen, never misses.
Stokes.
No one ever writes to me.
You tell us where you are when you get out and we'll write to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course we will.
And Lewis. Lewis?
The only one who ever wrote to me was my aunt. And that was because I asked her to.
Well, now you got more aunties than you could shake a stick at. You're going to get sick of writing.
You've been promoted.
Julie's at lunch. How's everything going?
The mail's all delivered and all's well. Well, almost all.
What isn't?
I get the distinct impression some of the women hold me personally responsible when they don't get a letter. Especially a couple over in maternity. And Helen Smart kicks up a racket every time I go near Solitary.
Well, I don't entirely blame her.
Neither do I. She had quite a go-in with our deputy governor when she was hauled off to Solitary yesterday.
What over?
Claiming the right to decent legal assistance.
Well, she's right. Everyone's entitled to that. There's something about her case that isn't quite right.
I'll buy that.
Steve, have you been watching Colleen? Have you noticed, anything out of the ordinary?
You mean between her and Carol Lewis, right?
Yes.
There's been a couple of times I thought she would have been put on report for sure, but nothing happened.
Apart from the women turning on Lewis, you mean?
Funny you should say that. Gaffney thinks it's a setup job. Thank God Colleen wasn't there when she told me. Can I help you?
Yeah, Detective Sergeant Burke to see inmates Bryant and Donahue.
I'll fix this, Mr. Faulkner. I'm Mrs. Morris, Sergeant.
Oh, good. I was happy to have a word with you before I saw the prisoners.
Right, will you sign in, please?
Good news?
Yeah, it's from Jenny Powell.
You got a letter from Perfay's pal's daughter.
Yeah, it's really nice of her.
Bloody surprising, I'd say.
What would she have to write to you about?
I don't mind what you say, because it's none of our business, but I must confess I'm rather interested myself.
Guess there's nothing you don't know.
I hope things aren't too bad for you after all you did for me. And I know how hard it was to do what you did even after he'd given you a beating on my account. Love's a funny thing. Like with Mum, she's really beaut, but some things get to her too much. I guess it's all we need to hear. She sounds like a nice kid.
Yeah.
She reckons she'd do anything to help you. If I were you, I'd keep that safe.
Oh, well.
Especially from Mum.
God, it's amazing how understanding some kids can be.
Yeah, especially when they've got a mother like she has.
Judy, there's a visitor for you.
Please?
Detective Sergeant Burke. He's waiting in the interview room.
Good luck, Judy.
Yeah.
Bryant, pleasure to meet you again.
Sergeant Burke?
Well, we're back on your case, huh?
Yeah, it's about time.
Yes. Well, look, just refresh my memory, will you? On the night of the robbery, just exactly what did you pick up the man who alleges he was robbed and your friend, Jackie Donahue?
Look how many times I have to tell you this. I never met Jackie Donahue before that night, and she certainly isn't a friend of mine.
Well, I hardly blame you for that. She left you holding the bag.
No, that's not true. For God's sake, she was a fare, that's all. You don't listen so good, do you?
And what about the victim, Ron Crosby? When he told you to take him to his motel, you knew the address?
Yes, of course I did. Every driver in town knows it.
There's an isolated spot for that time of the night, huh?
What are you driving at? Why do you keep going over everything all the time?
Well, we have to tie your story in with that of your friend, Jackie Donahue. We don't like loose ends, okay? Now, how long have you known your friend, Jackie Donahue? Well, I've got to ask you this because his story doesn't quite tie in with yours.
Yeah, well, so what does that mean if she You bastard. You rotten bastard!
Judy.
You had no intention of looking into my case, did you? All you wanted was for me to admit that Jackie was the girl in my taxi that night.
Which you've just done, thank you. Now, why don't you tell me the rest?
Go to hell.
Now, look, you're doing yourself no favors. We've still got our witness, remember?
Oh, yeah, you got a witness, all right. That's if you could keep him sober long enough to get his lies straight. He's the one that should be charged.
I'm sorry you feel that way after such a promising start. Your friend Donahue was even less cooperative. However, we do seem to have a case.
Like hell you have. I'm innocent.
Are you?
Hello, Jackie.
Mrs. Morris?
I just thought we might have a little talk about this business.
He said I'd get the same as Judy.
Yes, I know.
They can't do that to me.
Well, why not?
Because I didn't do it. I've never assaulted anyone. They can't do it to me, can they?
Well, they did it to Judy.
Oh, God. 2 years for assault and robbery. 2 years. I couldn't stand it.
Well, maybe there's a way out, Jackie.
Yeah. Maybe the witness won't recognise me. What's a drunk's word worth anyway?
It convicted Judy. Have you thought about her?
Oh, what can I do?
Well, maybe you could tell them what really happened.
And what good would that do? It wouldn't get Judy off.
Well, perhaps the truth would help.
The truth? Who cares about the truth? They just want to convict me of something I didn't do.
Look, I don't know the full story. But if what Judy tells me is true, and I suspect it is, perhaps when you stop feeling sorry for yourself, you might think about her.
I have.
Think about someone who went to jail for 2 years because they tried to help you. Then see if you still feel sorry for yourself.
Have a look at this, Meg.
What?
It's a letter from Carol Lewis to Jennifer Powell.
Are you serious?
Very. It's a thank you note for a letter the kid wrote to.
That's incredible. Correspondence between Lewis and Colleen's daughter.
What are you talking about? Let me see that.
Colleen.
Oh, that bitch.
Colleen, look, I don't think you should go near Lewis the way you're feeling right now.
She didn't even sign out.
I'm more worried what she's going to do to her daughter when she gets home.
It's all clear. Of course it's all clear, or we wouldn't be in here. Here, give us a hand to get the lid off. Careful your fingers. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, phew, Lizzie. Stinks more than your usual brew. Aroma's the word. Yeah, well, there's a lot of aroma then. Oh, beauty. This is going to be a terrific batch. I hope it isn't going to taste like it smells, is it? Of course not. Once she's distilled, she's going to be beautiful. Oh, gee, Lizzie, I'm not drinking that. Oh, of course not, you deal. You don't drink the stuff you skim off. I knew that. I was just testing you. Come on. Let's put the lid back on. Oh. Now, if I can't make it, you have to come and do this, but don't miss out, otherwise it'll be all over the floor. I can do it, right? All right, then, come on now, let's go. Wait till we get some of this stuff inside us. It'll just be like living in a pub.
Here's your dinner, Jackie.
Thanks, Susie, but I'm not hungry.
It's not real bad tonight, and you should eat something.
All I can think about is 2 bloody years in this place, stuck away from the world and everyone else.
But you're only in here for 2 weeks, and that's nearly over.
If that cop has his way, I'll be in here for 2 years, just like Judy. After what the women did to me, they'd have to keep me in isolation the whole time. They hate me.
That was just a couple of dills who thought you needed to be taught a lesson. Well, they thought you wouldn't help Judy otherwise.
Well, I was going to.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Judy sorted them out. They won't do it again.
Judy did?
Yeah. She doesn't hate you, Jackie. She's real nice.
Time to go, Susie.
Yes, Mrs. Morris.
We'll send someone for your tray later.
If I had time to talk to Jackie, I reckon she'd change her mind again.
Do you think so?
Yeah. All she needs is a friend.
How could you write to that woman after what she did to you?
Mum?
To her, of all people. A thank you letter. Oh, bloody thank you letter after the treatment she dealt you.
All right, Cole, just cut it out.
Stay out of this. How long has it been going on?
I only wrote to thank her for helping me because I had to, because it was true.
All right, can we just calm down?
Look, you don't know what you're doing. Jennifer, she could use those letters in her trial to get a lighter sentence. Now, you mustn't help her, don't you see that?
You can't tell me what to say.
Don't speak to me like that.
Look, can we just leave it until we all calm down a bit?
You don't even know the bitch of a woman.
Maybe Dad doesn't, but I do. Better than you ever could.
You're too young to know her type.
Going for a walk.
No, you're not. Listen, it's dark out there.
I don't think it's such a good idea, Jenny.
And I'm going to my room.
Jennifer!
Let her go.
I just wish you could understand. If we let her go on like this, she could help Lewis get a lighter sentence.
Well, is that so bad?
Well, I'm not going to let that happen.
Well, what do you want Jenny to do, lie? We've always brought them up to be honest.
It's not a question of honesty, it's a question of common sense. The woman is a criminal.
She saved Jenny's life.
I know, people like her. Oh, she's going to pay for what she did. And I mean pay for it.
Couldn't I just pop in and say hello?
That's another question you know the answer to.
Oh. Well, at least you could tell me why she's in there, or is that some big secret?
You'll have to go higher than me to find out.
Oh, bloody hell, it's bad enough being served this muck for breakfast and then not having some smiling face serving
I'll
it
give her
to
a big
you.
smile for you, Liz.
Oh, that isn't it, and you know it. She shouldn't be in there. She hasn't done anything. It's criminal.
You can always complain to the governor.
Oh, fat lot of good that'd do. Just tell me one thing. Do you reckon Helen's being treated fair?
I can't say that I do.
Right. Well, at least you could just let me slip in there for a minute. Nobody else need know about it.
Sorry, I can't do that.
Okay, let's get it. You're supposed to be on laundry duty.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what's with the bucket and mop? Gonna wash the sheets out by hand?
No, I've been scraping the scum off Lizzie's booze. And the mop's just in case the screws stop me.
Very clever. What are you gonna do with that?
I'm going to put it in the washing machine and rinse it out.
Oh, I hope that is not an indication of what the end product's like.
Oh, of course not. It's going along real well, bubbling away just right. So good, in fact, that I put more yeast into it.
Don't go fooling around with Lizzie's recipe. She's a pro. Anything could be happening if you muck up the balance.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to go back and check it before lunch.
Yeah, we'll put some bleach in the bucket to get rid of that pong and then get back to work.
Come on, okay. What's your last slave die off?
Time for your exercise period.
Will the other women be there?
No, just a few working in the garden. The rest will go out when you've finished.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Don't worry. I'll be there to keep an eye on things.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
It's better out here than being cooped up in that cell, isn't it?
Yeah. Gets pretty lonely in there.
Well, if you was to come back with the rest of us, we could work out here sometimes.
I don't know. Still scared of their mothers.
Oh, there's no need. Well, now that Judy's straightened out the dills, you know what she's like.
But she must have it in for me as well.
Judy? Nah, she's not like that. All she's worried about is being stuck in here without a reason, and her daughter finding out.
I know what you're getting at.
No one's going to lean on you, except the cops. And they'd be dead easy to beat.
Easy? How?
By admitting what happened, and backing up Judy's story.
How would that help if they wanted to believe their own version?
Because then there'd be two of you against the bloke that got Judy convicted. The court would have to believe it. Oh, God, why don't you do it? Unless you've got something against Judy.
No. She's always been good to me. Right from the night we met.
The others should be coming out in a minute. Do you want to go inside?
Please.
Time for some more work, Susie.
Yes, Mr. Faulkner.
Some interest in the
Here, we'll wait here until they've gone through.
You can't walk in when you want to. You might as well not have one.
Well, we're going out now, so you might as well enjoy it. Hello.
You okay, love?
Yeah, hi, Jackie.
Right, we'll go through now. Your lunch will be brought in soon.
Thanks.
Must get lonely in here sometimes.
Being on my own is okay. It's just having nothing to do.
I thought so. I've brought you these. Thought you might like to write a letter or something. Just to pass the time. What's the matter with you?
Oh, I'm just fed up with the way some things happen around here.
Such as?
Well, this Helen Smart business. She's been in solitary almost 2 days, so I asked Mrs. Davidson when she was coming out.
But she's due to be released today, isn't she?
Yeah, she should be.
You mean she isn't? Well, what did Mrs. Davidson say about it?
She said I'd do better to obey orders and not question all the decisions of my superiors.
Not as bluntly as that, I trust.
No, that's my translation.
I'll look into it if you like.
Oh, don't bother. Thanks anyway, Meg, but I'll be a good boy. Just do as I'm told.
I've got Helen's meal ready for her, Mrs. M.
You're a bit quick off the mark, aren't you, Lizzie?
Suppose so, but I didn't want to be late for my own.
I'll escort her.
Oh, good on you, Mr. Faulkner. Come on, then.
Come on, Liz, you haven't got all day.
You mean you're
Don't
going to let me...
ask questions, just obey. Seems to be the order of the day. You got 5 minutes.
Oh. G'day, Phil. Look what I brought you.
Maybe if I talk to Jackie, apologise.
No, leave it for now. Susie seems to be handling it, even though she isn't getting far.
Yeah, well, if I think of something...
No way. There is no room in this for bright ideas, not unless Judy and I agree to it.
Okay.
And don't you forget it.
I won't forget. Oh, hell.
What now?
The brew in the boiler room. I should have checked it before we knocked off work.
Don't worry, I can't walk away.
Oh, don't bet on it. Keep me a seat, will you?
Sure.
Mrs. Morris,
Yes, Jackie?
would you have a look at this, please?
Well, I don't quite know what to say.
Is it all right?
Well, I think there's more detail than is needed, but otherwise it's perfect.
I thought it was better to put everything in. That way there's more they can check up on.
I'm sure you're right. You haven't signed it?
No, I thought I was supposed to get a witness.
Have you done it, Jackie?
Yes. Yes, she's done it. And she's got a witness. There. That's done now.
What's going to happen to me?
Well, I'll give this to Judy and then she can arrange things through her solicitor. If it's handled properly, I think there's a good chance you'll get off with a fine.
What if you can't beat the police
Don't
claims?
think like that. We're on a winning streak. I can feel it.
I reckon you're real brave.
I'm still scared.
Would you like to go back with the other women now?
I'd like to be alone for a bit.
I can't wait to tell all the others.
Well, you'll have to wait until Judy's been told. What's happening?
Nothing.
You go back to the dining room and remember what I said.
I will.
You've allowed Lizzie to visit Helen Smart, haven't you?
You disapprove?
It's not our position to bend the rules when it suits us.
There's some people around here who've bent a few rules to keep her locked away.
Look, I don't condone her treatment any more than you do.
But
But if you're going to bend the rules, don't do it in front of the prisoners.
yeah, I suppose you're right. Are you going to report it?
There's nothing to report. I haven't seen anything. And don't you forget it.
Meg.
What?
Thanks.
Oh, yuck. I wish I'd had time to change these clothes. They feel awful.
I've got a hot flash for you. They don't smell too brilliant either.
Yeah, well, you should try it sometime.
Wasn't my idea to go putting more yeast in the brew. Hey, I sit on this side of the table if I were you. The air's a lot fresher.
I'll cut it out, Bee.
Well, what's that smell?
Ask Doreen.
Look, I'll tell you, but you're not to tell Lizzie, OK?
There she is.
For the beer, no bloomers, too.
I've done it.
What?
I got through the security and I got to Helen, and it wasn't too easy either, let me tell you.
Well, come on, Gib, what's the story?
What's that smell?
Don't worry about the smell, Lizzie. You just tell us about Helen and I'll tell you about the smell later.
She got sprung in the garden talking to that reporter, you know, that friend of yours from the Dispatch. Well, he pretended he was her brother and he offered her $5,000 for proof of what she said about Stanfield. It was in your article.
$5,000?
It seems as though Helen's got all the proof in her bank account showing how he used to pay her for the girls she used to organise for
Yeah,
him.
we knew that.
Well, all she has to do is get a written authority for them to see her bank account, and she's home and hosed.
This looks like our chance.
Well, what do you mean, Bee?
Well, they don't let Helen out tomorrow, and I don't think they're going to. We have to find a way of getting that written authority to the Dispatch.
What do you reckon we can?
We have to. I'm going to slam that bastard Stanfield if it's the last thing we do.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then.